I'm Adeshawa Josh. Our top stories tonight. Senate to institutionalize June 12 presidential address in recognition of the day's historical significance. Call to reinstate suspended Governor of Rivers State Siminalayi Fubara and lifting of state of emergency intensifies ahead of Democracy Day commemoration. And California Governor flays President Trump's deployment of more troops as chaotic LA protests enter fourth day.
In business, Russia seeks to strengthen economic ties with Nigeria through trade and space technology.
And in sports, Nigeria's Grammy Award winner Thames set to perform at halftime show at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup final in July. Details in a moment.
Welcome everyone. Tonight begins right now. We begin tonight in the upper legislative chamber of the National Assembly, where lawmakers are planning to introduce a bill that will formalize the president's annual address to the nation on June the 12th. According to Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele, the bill will also adopt the National Assembly complex as the venue for future presidential inaugurations. June 12 was designated Nigeria's Democracy Day in 2018 to honor the late Chief Moshood Abiola, who won the annulled 1993 presidential election, widely considered the freest and fairest in the nation's history. Several advocacy groups in Rivers State continue to call on President Tinubu to reinstate Governor Siminalayi Fubara, who was suspended in March over his handling of the state's political crisis. One such group is the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide. The group wants President Tinubu to demonstrate his commitment to democratic values by using the symbolic occasion of June 12 to restore Governor Fubara and all duly elected lawmakers in the state. President Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State on March the 18th after a prolonged political standoff between FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and Governor Fubara. The People's Democratic Party governors are currently challenging the president's actions in court. And for more on this story, Solomon Leno, former spokesperson for the Coalition of River State Civil Society Organizations, joins me from Port Harcourt in the River State capital, as well as Dr. Abiye Hector Goma, a political analyst. He joins me from Leeds in the United Kingdom. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us tonight. I'll start with you, Solomon. What do you consider the significance of restoring Governor Fubara on June the 12th?
On June 12th will be the reinstatement of all democratic structure, in Rivers State that was suspended on March 18th this year. And it's going to be very, very symbolic because, of course, leadership is a roller coaster of both popular and unpopular, actions and events. And of course, the one of March 18, 2025 came with a very rude shock and was an action that was not very popular, at the time, even though as time went by virtue of more revelations right now, Rivers people had come to realize, the wisdom behind the action of Mr. President on that fateful day. But be that as it may, we are practicing democracy, and of course, the leadership that we had here in Rivers State before the March 18 incident was one which was very dear to the hearts, of Rivers people, for which they still yearn that they had that government today. Of course, that action was not very popular at the time, like I said, but one of the things that will be very significant at this moment in our nationhood and in our democratic journey will be the reinstatement of the governor and the legislatures of Rivers State, because of course that will be very symbolic in a lot of ways, because the president that we have today is one man who fought, fearlessly and vehemently against the military dictatorship as at the time, and made a lot of sacrifices, to bring about the democracy that we have today. Of course, in his fatherly wisdom, he had taken the action which he took then. But right now, I think it is very clear because, of course, all parties have learned a lot from the disagreement that existed here. And of course, it is the right time, to call back these democratic institutions, because of course, we are in a democracy, and that will be the only best thing that can be done at this time. And again, it will also create a very significant, a pass mark for the government and the administration of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because that will show that the action that he took that day was not, like many people perceived it, to please, the whims and caprices of any individual, or like people had, termed it, including myself, in the beginning stages of that event, as a state capture. So right now, I think calling back the governor would be the best thing and the best gift that can be given to Nigerians, not just Rivers people, on June 12th to mark that significant day.
Okay, just to recap what you've said, basically, the president should restore Governor Siminalayi Fubara for sentimental reasons. Let me bring in Dr. Gunman. What difference will it make if the president restores Governor Fubara on June 12th instead of in September, when the 6 months initial suspension period will be complete?
Thank you very much. I think it's a fact that the suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara is an aberration of democracy. And bringing him back, whether it's June 12, June 11, is the right thing to do, and the sooner the better.
Great. I think I like how straightforward your answer is. Basically, they should bring him back because it is the right thing to do. But now it doesn't seem as if that the president is willing to do it, or are there any indications that the president will be doing that on June 12th?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we'll do it on June 12th. It will be symbolic, and I think we've been told, we've seen the governor meeting with the president. The president Tinubu is like the father of the nation, and I think the most important thing for any leader to do is to do the right thing. And everybody knows that the removal of the governor is a political dispensation. And as somebody once said, if you want to know the truth, follow the money. And I think that's my personal view, and I'm sure it's the view of many people, that all of what is happening in Rivers State is particularly aimed at controlling the money, which is supposed to be used to develop Rivers State and improve the well-being of the people of Rivers State, and not to capture the state for the benefit of one political party.
Well, wouldn't that seem as though the president is unresolved in his decision to suspend them for 6 months if he walks it back now? Plus, PDP governors have already taken him to court. What difference would that make?
I mean, if I'll say, like I mentioned earlier, that a good leader does the right thing. And as the president of the country, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, if he decides today that I want Governor Siminalayi to return to power in Rivers State to do the work for which he was elected by the people of Rivers State, I'm sure there'll be jubilation all over the country and beyond. And at least, I mean, where I live in Leeds, the last Lord Mayor is a Nigerian. So people look up to Nigeria and Nigerians, and I think it would be a fantastic thing for the governor, for the president to do, to bring the governor back into the brick house as soon as possible, if not sooner.
Let me bring in Solomon. One of the reasons why the president suspended both the governor and the lawmakers is because they could not come to a resolution to put personal politics and interests aside and lead the people of Rivers State. Would you say that has been laid to rest now, that there is peace, and if the governor comes back, everything will all be rosy and well?
Well, I think like a lot of persons have said, I also believe that our issue, there wasn't any reason, cogent enough to have suspended them. But of course, like I said before, the obscurantism of leadership sometimes may not allow people who are on the outside to actually, get the complete reason for certain actions that governments, will take. But as it stands today, of course, it has been clear, because the FCT minister has said it time and time again, that the plan, there was actually a plan to remove the governor from office, and the assembly members were, determined to do that. And of course, the president, waded in, even though with, a procedure that was not very popular. So right now, it doesn't matter whether it is tonight or tomorrow. What is very important right now for all Nigerians is to see that this democracy that was hard fought for, is not, thrown, into the trenches and by actions, of the actors in such a way that will begin to tell the military guys that they still have, an opportunity to come back. So I think it is very, very important because there was no reason. What happened in Rivers State here was just a political disagreement between one political party. Of course, we had other political parties who voted, in the governor. It wasn't just the PDP affair that brought him, as governor. So the issue within PDP was not enough to have, been a reason to remove him from office. So let's just leave all of that. I think we've gone past all that right now. Lessons have been learned. Even the president himself must have sat back to look at some of the actions, that he took and come to the realization that it was not very popular. So right now, I think in democracy, it is important to listen to the people. And what are the people saying? What are Nigerians saying? What are Rivers people saying? Including even those who were the warring factions, in that crisis. I can tell you without, contradiction right now that they are even tired and fed up of the voting. Some of them have even, realized that it wasn't a very good action that they had taken when the governor went to try to present the budget and they called his bluff, which, was part of the reasons that the president stated to have, declared a state of emergency here, that there was no governance and all of that. So I think right now it is important for us to do the right thing, even if we are veered off a bit, from the right track. It's not too late. It's never too late, for us to come back to the right track and do the right thing. And I expect that the president must have listened to voices of wisdom, or should listen to voices of wisdom, and do the right thing by calling back, the governor of Rivers State, so that Rivers State can return back, to the path of progress.
Dr. Abiye, before Dr. Gomer, I beg your pardon, before I let you both go, your final word: if the president does not restore the lawmakers and Fubara on June 12th, does that mean that something has gone wrong fully with our democracy?
Knowledge, public conversation that the separation of powers between the executive, legislative, and judicial arms of government has become how the clarity of a blur in Nigeria today. And I think, like I said again, is to do the right thing. The 1999 Constitution is very clear about what to do. I mean, Section 305 doesn't give the president the power to suspend our governor. And secondly, I think Section 11, Section 4 talks about if a state assembly is dysfunctional, then the National Assembly legislates and does not remove the governor. And I think that's the best case scenario, because there's also been conversation that if elected assembly members are defected to another party, the law is very clear on that. So if you say the remaining lawmakers are not enough to give the legislative arm of government, then the National Assembly can legislate, but the governor has to be reinstated along with his deputy. That is the right thing to do, and I think a good leader should do the right thing for the benefit of the people of Rivers State. So
you're saying at the very least, the president should reinstate the governor and his deputy, and then they can figure out the rest later?
Definitely. The law, there's provision in the law. If the state assembly is dysfunctional, then the National Assembly can work with the governor to rule the state until such a time when new legislative assembly members are elected.
Solomon, as a representative, a former spokesperson of the Coalition of River State Civil Society Organizations, if nothing happens the way you want it on June 12th, what's going to happen next? If the president does not restore Governor Siminalayi Fubara on the 12th, what are you guys going to do next?
The advocacy, of course, we've been advocating because, of course, that's just what the civil society does. We don't go, up in arms against the system. We use advocacy to press home our demand, which is what we have been doing too. But I have a strong belief that, of course, the president will do the right thing, because, of course, this issue of Rivers State has become a litmus test, for our democracy, and the person of the president would not want, the democracy that we currently have today to have, a telling dent during his own administration, no matter what the case may be. So I believe that June 12th is going to be a historic day. Or even though, because what we are saying now are just assumptions, even though that doesn't happen, I believe that some way, somehow, the president will find a way to still, recuse himself of some of these things that have gone wrong.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to have to leave the conversation here for now. Thank you so much, Solomon Lenu, former spokesperson for the Coalition of River State Civil Society Organizations. Thank you for joining us tonight. Also, Dr. Abiy Hector Goma, a political analyst. Thank you both. Coming up tonight, Peter Obi raises concerns over worsening insecurity and economic situation in Nigeria. We have details of these and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Tonight on News Central. I'm Adeshawa Josh. A reminder of our top stories. Senate moves to institutionalize June 12th presidential address in recognition of the day's historical significance. Call to reinstate suspended governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, and lifting of state of emergency intensify ahead of Democracy Day commemoration. In California, governor flays President Trump's deployment of more troops as chaotic LA protests enter fourth day. Former Abia State Governor Senator Orji Uzor Kalu says he's optimistic about the direction Nigeria's economy is heading. Senator Kalu says the economy is on a path to recovery and believes President Tinubu's policies will soon yield results. He made the remarks while speaking on national and regional issues in Umuahia, the Abia State capital, where he also weighed in on local politics.
That in the next 1, 2, 3 years, the economic activities will be getting down to the route where it's supposed to be. I know people are suffering. I pay people, I work with people, I sell commodities, I know what I used to sell, and I know what I'm not selling now. So I know people are suffering. President Tinubu himself also knows that people are suffering. You know, it takes a couple of years for the economy to get back. Once you run into deflation and depression and all the rest of it. And let me be honest with you. I'm not saying it because I'm a member of this. There's worldwide reflection. Just let him say what he wants. If he wants to run for governor, he should come back and say, I want to run for governor. We don't have a candidate. I've asked my younger brother to keep himself and Ben cannot run together. That's the truth. So if he wants to run, let him come out and declare I'm running for governor. So we prepare to win the government. If he's not running, let him go back and run for his House of Rep. We know we are preparing to go for House of Rep. So you cannot be a holder and also be a beholder. That's where I stand. So
Meanwhile, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has raised alarm over the worsening insecurity and economic situation in Nigeria. At the launch of a new book titled Obi, the Political Change Agent in Abuja, the former Anambra State governor expressed deep concern over the conditions of citizens, describing the country as a crime scene that needs urgent attention. He emphasized that while the country is not officially at war, many citizens live like refugees, both at home and abroad.
Hey, all of us know that we must work hard to dismantle this crime scene called the country now. Because there's no way we will be able to survive with this. Today in Nigeria, we're not at war. Nigerians are in refugee camp in their own country. Nigerians are refugees in Chad. Nigerians are refugees in Cameroon. And we are not at war. The only reason is that we don't have a government who cares for the people. People are being killed daily. Nobody goes to say to them, we're sorry. Nobody visits them. Nobody cares. All you get in Nigeria is that some people are rich, so they can afford to celebrate. We're not going to where we're going to do celebration, close street, do this and everything. People are being killed every day. Nigerians are dying every day. What we are doing is to use the resources. I visited so many primary health care where there's no toilet, where there's no nothing. All we are doing is to use resources to build, renovate house, renovate the building, build the mansion.
In other news, Sanlam, one of Africa's biggest non-banking financial services, and Allianz, one of the world's most renowned global insurance, have marked a major milestone in their Pan-African expansion journey with the official launch of Sanlam Allianz. The high-profile unveiling held in Lagos showcased a blend of corporate excellence and cultural flair. The Central Business Correspondent, Perpetua Fasomi, reports.
Was the pioneer chairman of FBN Life, which is the seed upon which everything else has been built.
It was an evening of laughter, culture, glitz and glamour, marking the formal birth of Sanlam Allianz Life Insurance and Sanlam Allianz General Insurance, entities positioned to significantly expand access to world-class insurance solutions across Nigeria.
Sanlam, Africa's largest non-banking financial services powerhouse, and Allianz, one of the world's most recognizable insurance brand and market leader. Our rebrand is beyond the combination of names. It is our evolution, our commitment to staying relevant in insurance and financial services market, and our unwavering focus on delivering even greater value to you as stakeholders.
The evening was rich with optimism and ambition as the CEOs highlighted the synergy of values and a shared vision to deliver innovative, customer-centric insurance services tailored for the Nigerian market.
The company we're talking about is here in Nigeria and will be providing solutions that is tailored for Nigeria, leveraging on the combined strengths and synergies that is between its two parent companies that has now formed one company.
Our presence across 27 African countries means that there are solutions that have been deployed in certain parts of the continent that will obviously be able to deploy within the Nigerian market. So it's really about creating strong financial institutions that are able to serve our customers the best way we know how.
Commending the merger, NICOM Commissioner described it as a vote of confidence in Nigeria's insurance sector and its future potential.
This is a welcome signal to both local and international stakeholders that our insurance industry remains an attractive destination for serious long-term investments.
The undisputed highlights of the event were the cake-cutting ceremony and brand unveiling. With operations in 27 countries, Sanlam Allianz brings not just capital strength, but a commitment to governance, transparency, responsiveness, and service excellence, which are critical pillars for building lasting trust in financial services. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Perpetua Fasomi Peter.
One of the world's largest skincare brand, Nivea, has launched the latest edition of their range of skincare products, the Nivea UV Face Sunscreen. Its non-greasy, light sunscreen is said to be the best that any lady can have in their purse. Sewesi Anyu has more.
It was a vibrant afternoon at Seoul Beach in Lagos as international skincare brand Nivea unveiled its latest sun care line. Guests showed up in beach chic outfits, enjoying games, music, and hands-on product trials in a lively tropical atmosphere.
We've invested a lot in innovation into this product, making sure that it actually does what we claim that the product does. So, for instance, we're calling out non-greasy. That's actually a fact. When you apply the product on your skin, it doesn't leave any greasy mark. We say it has a mattifying effect, and indeed there's no shiny effect after. And the most important factor is that it actually protects your skin from the harmful ray of the sun.
Girls and boys, it has zero greasy feel, zero white cast, so you don't have to be scrubbing your face and trying to make it all go away. It absorbs into your skin so easily. It gives you a matte feeling, so if you have oily skin, it helps to keep your skin dry or during the day, and it has SPF 50 at 11,000. Girl, don't sleep on it, oh.
But beyond the fun, there was a serious message, raising awareness about sun safety and everyday skin protection.
This product has buckets of potential. For us, our key focus is educating Nigerians on the need for sunscreen. A lot of Nigerians think that they don't need sunscreen because black don't crack, but the truth is that melanin-rich skin is still exposed and is still susceptible to the effects of the sunscreen, and that's our focus, is making sure that consumers know that they need sunscreen every single day so they can prevent the effects of the sun exposure.
One of the most significant is the fact that it protects against the sunburn, which could happen. I'm sure you know people have sunburns at times, right? So sunscreen protects against that. Secondly, some people have darkening of their skin. Sunscreen will protect you against that because the UV rays will cause that as part of the after reactions, okay? So that is the second thing. And then the third part of it is these ultraviolet rays or infrared rays, some of the rays are responsible for causing skin cancer. So it also protects against possibility of those, at least reducing the exposure to those rays. We prevent people from having skin cancer.
Nika is a household name as far as Nigeria is concerned. We know and trust the roll-ons, the sprays, the lotions. We use them every day. This is just another addition into that lineup, but targeted to solve a specific problem of sun protection.
Nivea says its new formulations are tailored for hot, humid climate, light on the skin, deeply moisturizing, and designed for all skin types.
Every Nigerian, especially young active Nigerians, will use this product because it's actually coming at the right time as well. This is something that we've been looking for a long time.
A lot of consumers know about sunscreen, but they've used other sunscreens that didn't have a good or pleasant effect on them, leaving them with a greasy skin, white residue, but our product doesn't do that. No white residue or cast, no greasiness or sticky feel. It gives you a mattifying effect, so even if you're wearing makeup, you can still use a sunscreen. And last but not the least, the sun protection factor is 50, which is really good and robust for Nigerian skin.
We want to break all of those myths that people have when it comes to sunscreen usage. And the biggest one for us black skin is, oh, we're black, we don't need sunscreen. Baby girl, no, that's a lie. You need sunscreen because you need to protect yourself against skin cancer. You also need to prevent aging. Please, I want to look like this when I'm 80.
This amazing product is available online.
With more Nigerians spending time outdoors, whether for work, travel, or play, experts stress that protecting the skin is no longer optional but essential. In Lagos, for News Central, Sewisi Anyo.
Outside our shores, a former pupil opened fire on his former classmates, I should say, killing 10 people and himself at a secondary school in Austria's second city, Graz, on Tuesday, in the worst school shooting in Austria's modern history. Interior Minister Gerhard Karner said that 6 of those killed at the school were female and 3 were male, without giving any details of their ages. Graz Hospital later confirmed the death of a 10th person. Karner says another dozen people had been injured, but gave no further details about the victims. Meanwhile, Austrian Chancellor Christian Stocker has declared 3 days of national mourning. California Governor Gavin Newsom is lashing out at President Donald Trump's latest military deployment, calling it the deranged fantasy of a dictatorial president. But the president is standing his ground. Speaking at the White House earlier today, Trump defended his decision to send thousands more troops into Los Angeles amid continued unrest following federal immigration raids. Trump labeled the situation in parts of the city as an insurrection, blaming what he called paid troublemakers for the violence. In response, the administration is sending an additional 2,000 National Guard troops, bringing the total to 4,000. The 18th session of the Conference of States Parties to the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities officially opened on Tuesday at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Delegates from around the world gathered for this high-level event aimed at advancing disability rights and promoting inclusive social development. The theme for this year's session is enhancing public awareness of the rights and contributions of persons with disabilities for social development. Discussions highlighted the importance of innovative financing, the role of artificial intelligence in accessibility, and the urgent need to amplify the voices of indigenous persons with disabilities. The event is expected to continue throughout the week. Welcome back. It's time for some Money Talks with Lekon. Lekon, what's the latest? I am hearing that the Russian Federation is proposing some kind of business collaboration with Nigerian businessmen and women.
Well, yeah, there have been some talks about Nigeria not attracting enough FDIs, but then now Russia seems to be eyeing some sectors, and I'll be telling you more about those sectors that they have an eyes on in a bit. The Russian Federation has expressed its willingness to support the Nigerian business community in enhancing relations with Russian companies. Russian ambassador to Nigeria, Andrei Podolshev, announced this during a press briefing in Abuja as the embassy prepares to celebrate Russia Day on June 12. Podolshev emphasized that key sectors identified for collaboration include trade, economy, and space technology, areas where Russia excels. He believes strategic collaborations with already existing Russian-owned businesses in these sectors can boost indigenous capabilities, place Nigeria in vantage position globally, and also accelerate her growth economically. Away from that, the African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, has contested Fitch Ratings' recent downgrade of its long-term issuer default rating from BBB to BBB-, which comes with a negative outlook. The bank asserts its strong financial position and legal protections against the risks cited by Fitch. In a statement, Afreximbank emphasized its compliance with international financial reporting standards, including IFRS 9, and highlighted its robust governance and financial resilience. The downgrade was, however, attributed to concerns over potential debt restructuring, including some African governments. The International Monetary Fund has expressed its desire for the Zimbabwe gold called ZiG to become a fully established national currency as it considers placing Zimbabwe on a staff-monitored program. Introduced in April 2024, the ZiG replaced the Zimbabwean dollar, and despite the recent 43% devaluation, it has struggled to gain traction as citizens continue to prefer the dollar. Wojciech Maliszewski, the IMF's mission chief, noted the need for measures to enhance the ZiG's usage, including improving the foreign exchange market. Finance Minister Mthuli Nkobi anticipates finalizing the SMP by the end of June to address Zimbabwe's $21 billion debt. And now we look at stock markets. Now, the NGX All-Share Index slipped by 0.52% to close at 114,017.48 points as market capitalization dropped 71.89 trillion naira. And talking about sectoral performance now, we start with the banking sector. The index posted a mild gain of 0.27%, while the insurance sector shared 0.60%. Oil and gas stocks saw significant profit taken, falling 2.84%. Of course, it actually outperformed a strong rally of 2.56% for consumer goods, whereas industrial goods declined sharply by 3.33%. Investor sentiment reflects a shift towards consumer-focused stocks, according to what we tracked, while cautious and persistent indexes around industrial counters and energy names seems to be in the fort. And that's about it on Business News. I am Lekon Omabanjo.
And I have Tina here with me with some very interesting latest in sports news today.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are celebrating the fact that Nigeria's Grammy Award superstar, a Grammy Award winning superstar, Thames, will be performing at the FIFA Club World Cup. Of course, she'll be performing alongside another American superstar and a Latin sensation. I'll be telling you about all that and much more after the break. Hello and welcome to sports. FIFA has announced that Nigerian singer Thames, American rapper Doja Cat, and Colombian singer J Balvin will headline the Club World Cup final halftime show at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. World Soccer's ruling body will also work with international education and advocacy organization Global Citizen and British rock band Coldplay for the show on the 13th of July. The expanded 32-team Club World Cup runs from the 14th of June to the 13th of July in the United States. Lionel Messi's Inter Miami face Egypt's Al Ahly in the opening match on the 14th of June in Miami. The FIFA Club World Cup starts on the 14th of June 2025. And the tournament will take place across 12 stadiums in 11 cities, ranging from Philadelphia in the east of the country to Los Angeles on the west coast to Atlanta in the deep south. And here in Nigeria, the city of Lagos is set to make history when it hosts the African Fencing Championships from June 25th to the 29th. This marks a milestone for Nigerian sports as the nation becomes only the third sub-Saharan African nation to host this prestigious tournament, following Senegal and Mali. The competition will take place at the Charter House, Lagos, and will feature over 200 athletes from 26 African countries. World-class talent will compete, including current senior world #1 and Olympic bronze medalist Mohamed El Sayed from Egypt, plus Olympic silver medalist Fares Ferjani from Tunisia. Nigeria's own Nkosi Brew, ranked 23rd globally, leads the home team's medal hopes. President of the Nigerian Fencing Federation, Adinka Samuel, has described the national team as battle-ready after international coaching support and intensive training camps.
We have some really big initiatives, some really big projects coming up. It's partly why the international body is coming to Nigeria. I can't disclose at the moment because we're still trying to finalize it, and hopefully once they come, we'll be finalizing it. But in the right time, we would make it available. But there is a lot that has gone on. Some initiatives have even been awarded, but as I said, at the right time, we would disclose all these initiatives.
And to boxing now, Saul Canelo Alvarez's super fight against Terence Crawford will take place in Las Vegas on the 13th of September. That's Saturday, the 13th of September. The Mexican pound-for-pound great will meet the undefeated American Crawford for the undisputed super middleweight title of the world. The blockbuster, which will take place at the 71,000 capacity Allegiant Stadium, will be streamed globally on Netflix and has been billed as the fight of the century by Turki Al-Sheikh, chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority. Alvarez holds all 4 recognized world titles in the super middleweight division after the 34-year-old beat William Skull last month and has 63 wins from 67 professional fights with 2 draws and 2 defeats. Crawford is a 4-division and 2-weight undisputed champion and will be moving up from light middleweight. The 37-year-old possesses a flawless record, having won all 41 of his professional fights. And to some transfer news now, Borussia Dortmund has signed English midfielder Joby Bellingham from Sunderland on a 5-year contract until June 2030. The 19-year-old midfielder has played for the Black Cats since 2023, making 90 appearances and helping them secure promotion to the Premier League last season. He becomes the second Bellingham brother to join Dortmund, following in the footsteps of his older brother Jude, who played there from 2020 to 2023 before joining Real Madrid. Dortmund reportedly paid around 33 million euros for the England under-21 international, making it their highest upfront transfer fee ever. And with the deal being completed by 10th of June, Bellingham can play for Dortmund at the Club World Cup, which begins on Saturday. Dortmund's opening group game is against the Brazilian side Fluminense on the 17th of June. And that's all we have on sports. It's back to you, Adeshewa.
Welcome back. It's time for some entertainment stories with Sam Dandy. Sam, what do we have?
It's a great year for Ira Star. She just got her first BET Awards, and everyone's buzzing. But there's some controversy, so I'll tell you all about it after this quick break.
There was always something.
In entertainment, the 2025 BET Awards went down in style, once again celebrating Black excellence from around the globe. And as expected, Africans shone bright. From Burna Boy's historic nomination in the Best Hip Hop category to Tems scoring a double nomination after her 2022 win. But it was 21-year-old Sabi girl Ira Star who took home the big win and sparked some controversy. Ira snagged her first ever BET win, taking home the Best International Act category, joining the likes of Wizkid, Burna Boy, and Tems who've won. She beat out heavy competition from label mate Rema to South African global sensation Tyler, Ghana's Black Sheriff, and the incredible Uncle Waffles. Now here's where it gets messy. Despite being present at the early ceremony, Ira reportedly received her award backstage, not on the main stage. It sparked online backlash, with many calling it a snub. Wizkid's old 2015 tweet and interview surfaced where he slammed award shows for sidelining African acts. One fan pointed out, if the Grammys can give Africans their flowers on stage, what's BET's excuse? As of the last time I checked, Ira is yet to celebrate the win on socials, and BET is yet to respond to the critics. Fans are watching, and Nigerians are not here for the disrespect. I don't know. A part of me is thinking to myself, could this be disrespect? Could it be a case of, you know what, time was running out and they just didn't see the need to have that award presented on stage?
Precedented. I mean, I'm like, Ira receives award backstage. I'm just like, but it's allegedly, did something happen to her? Or was she puking? And maybe she was unwell?
But
it's highly unlikely she was unwell and she wanted to receive the award backstage. But there's more to this story. Like, what's going on?
Usually, I mean, even if you were to use the toilet or not on your seat, they would still call for the nomination and announce the winner. And then even if you can't get on stage, someone else will take on your behalf or something. But in this case, the award was not even called or presented on the stage. It was, you know, announced online. So fans who knew about the win saw it online. Everybody got the news online.
Wait a second. So was that what, what's his name again?
Wizkid
was referring to in his tweet? That's the 2015 tweet you said?
2015, that's right. That's right. So
did he also get his award backstage?
Back then in 2015, yes, it was a thing. In fact, this was not the only award that African stars had talked about. Why are we getting the award backstage, you know?
In 2015?
2015.
10 years on, he's still... Okay, I don't know all the details.
This is interesting because I don't know what has changed, but Tems did get the award in 2022 on stage, and she gave, of course, an incredible speech, you know, award speech, and honored, you know, all the other Afrobeat stars. But I don't know, could we go back?
You know what, you got to dig closer. I don't know, something's wrong.
Well, of course, if there are more details, we'll definitely let you know. Hopefully, Ira gets to celebrate this because it's a big win for her this year.
Absolutely.
On the international scene, during Katy Perry's June 9th concert in Sydney, a man invaded the stage. Now identified as Johnson Wen, the known serial prankster, he found his way on stage during her performance of Hot and Cold, briefly putting his arm around the singer before being removed by security. Despite the interruption, Perry kept the show going, telling fans to just enjoy it. Wen, who has a history of similar stunts at concerts and sporting events, was arrested by New South Wales Police, I beg your pardon, charged and later released on bail ahead of a June 23 court date. He has also been banned from Sydney Olympic Park for 6 months. Now, do we call this erratic behavior by fans? Let's watch this. I got to ask this question again. Is this erratic behavior by fans or what? Because there's a track record, okay? Britney Spears in Las Vegas back in 2016, a fan jumped on stage, allegedly with a gun. Well, hopefully nothing happened at that time, of course. Fifth Harmony's Ali Brooke in Mexico in 2015, a fan rushed the stage midway and grabbed her hair, nearly pulling her off the stage. Now, this one was most popular one. Bibi Rexha back in 2023 in New York. She got a black eye after she was hit in the face by a thrown phone from a fan. I don't know. Are they too excited, or are the securities not doing the necessary jobs in maintaining? Because this is uncalled for. What do you think?
I'm thinking, well, he's excited. It's not unusual for fans to get on stage, but the accounts of guns and pulling people's hair, it's just too much. But more importantly, I think I like how Katy Perry handled it. She was very classy about it. And you know what? Let's bring it back home. Remember that Burna Boy performance? Was it New Year's Day?
It was New Year's.
And he completely flipped. And later on, he explained that he's recovering from some kind of trauma,
anxiety,
yeah. And people didn't understand it. You know, these sort of things happen. It is how you handle it. But he could have come on stage and shot at him, or she shot at her.
Right.
Anything could have happened. So it is usually very, 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 very. It's a tricky situation. I mean, but it also speaks to security. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm sure he came in normal as a normal person, and then turned into a prankster.
Well, hopefully security is very important for fans, of course, and celebrities.
This is why I don't do concerts.
Well, those are the biggest stories in entertainment. I am Sam Dandy.
And that's the news tonight. But before we go, here's a reminder of our top stories. Senate moves to institutionalize June 12 presidential address in recognition of the day's historical significance. Call to reinstate suspended Governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, and lifting of state of emergency intensifies ahead of Democracy Day commemoration. California governor flays President Trump's deployment of more troops as chaotic LA protests enter fourth day. To send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screen. Follow us on all social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, AVO TV, and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Adeshewa Josh. I'll see you on Wednesday.